Hey, Horror Hounds, how's everybody doing? Just thought I would do a real quick, kind of raw and down and dirty little live stream for you guys here, because I want to talk to you. I've got a surprise actually about what is in this box. No, it's not a severed head, or is it? And luckily, we don't have to wait until Doomsday for me to open up. I'm going to open up in a few minutes, but before I do that, I want to talk about the evolution of how I got to what's in this box. And the catalyst for what's in this box is going to happen this Saturday in Waterloo, Ontario, called DreadCon, which Michelle River from Eerie Horror Publishing is hosting and putting on. So it's super excited about this because not only is it going to be, I believe, the first of its kind, the first strictly horror author dedicated convention of its kind in Waterloo region in Ontario, and I believe all of Canada, but I'm going to be there for the first time as a vendor in any convention. So I'm super excited about that. Plus, Michelle was crazy enough to invite me to moderate a panel on folk horror and talking about all of those things with some legendary authors by the name of Ijon, C.M. Forrest, and Tim McGregor. So you guys are not going to want to miss that at all. So if you guys are in the area, you have no excuse. Check it out. It's this Saturday at the Federation Hall in Waterloo, Ontario. If you're outside of the area, uh, maybe you like road trips. It's definitely worth it. However, the big thing that I'm going there to promote this weekend, as far as my table goes, I'm going to be there with my pal Dean Italiano, who is a super talented author as well. So you should definitely come and check us both out. He's got titles like The Starving Queen, Pain Machine, as well as a amazing book called Katrina and the Frenchman. Anyways, what I'm going to have there is this bad boy here called The Reviewer's Guide to Writing Book Reviews and How to Get Paid for It. Really glossy, so sorry if that is blinding you. I hope you're not reading this or watching this while you're driving. Otherwise, I probably just caused an accident. But that book just came out last month from Crystal Lake Entertainment, and I'm super excited to be talking about that and promoting it at this convention. But that got me thinking, though, as much as I'm proud of the work that I put into this, I really wanted to give somebody or have, I guess, a sort of a companion to go with that book because I thought, well, yeah, it's great. People are maybe going to read this and hopefully get excited to write stuff out. But I want this book to be as accessible as possible. I love the smaller size of it so you can fit it anywhere, go anywhere with it. But what if you're somewhere that you don't have a computer that you can't type up your new review that you just read, or maybe some notes about a book that you're currently reading and thought, wow, I just got a great pointer in there. I want to execute it, but crap, I got to wait till I get home. Well, now you don't, because what I did is I did up a companion piece in by way of a 150 page line notebook that I think has turned out pretty cool. But it definitely didn't start off as cool as it ultimately ended up. So I started off with this bad boy here. So I took the image. Actually, I used it. Full disclosure, this is not my original artwork, but fuck AI. This didn't come from any kind of AI generated device at all. This came from an actual artist that provided their work for Canva, which I have a membership with, so therefore have access to it. So thank you, Canva, for that. And this is a pretty badass picture, I think, to convey, exactly what I wanted to do. So I wanted people to know right away that they could put all their spooky thoughts on there in their own words. Very literary. It's exactly something that people can put their own words on there. It is 150 line pages. So this is the first iteration that I made up. I first created. I used Canva to actually create the entire thing, and I sell it through. I published it rather through KDP, and it's for sale. Obviously, if you go to convention I'm at, and it's also there for Amazon. I'll put a link in my description too if you guys want to, go to Amazon and check it out and order it. That'd be awesome. But I definitely learned a few things from this first thing. So margins are not my friend. I had a lot of complications with that. I am not a graphic designer. I'm a learn as you go kind of guy. I'm also stubborn, so I like to bang my head against the wall until I finally nail it, at least to my satisfaction, and hopefully other people like it too. So as you can see, I started off by this little cover page, which it's not that bad, but it's kind of crappy. I mean, this thing here, this background I use completely mutes the whole thing. And then here, I'll give you guys a chance to kind of check that out. I've got some notes in there too because it's a notebook. And yeah, so I thought it was really cool. I like the idea, and I saw this at another notebook I was kind of researching for design ideas. So I put my little werewolf guy up at the top there, which I think is pretty cool. And down near the bottom, you got a little rest in peace epitaph down there, which I thought was kind of neat. But then I realized that they're kind of dark and heavy, and the last thing I want to do is take up space. I want people to buy this book and have as much space as possible for writing. So in the finalized version, you'll see that I muted that completely, so you can even write over top of it, and it's all good. I guess as long as you're not using an adult pencil, but that's your problem to figure out. And then at the very end of it, I also wanted to put in. I did definitely want to tie this back in with my reviewer's guide. So if people maybe bought this one first and aren't even aware of my reviewer's guide or my my blog for that matter, or my podcast rather, I want them to be aware of that. So I put that at the very back of the book here. And again, it's all muted in the background. Didn't like how it looked. Plus, I don't like it to be there. I want it to be the last thing that people kind of see as they're flipping through it. And then over on the back of it, I've got just a real quick description, how it's inspired by my reviewer's guide. Again, I'm trying to plug that any way I can. I want to tie this in because this was designed with the intention in mind that it would in fact be a companion. Obviously, if you don't want to buy my other book, that's cool. Buy this book anyways. Write whatever you want on it. That's up to you. But again, I didn't like the way that this looked. As far as the background is okay, but I don't like how this stuff here is going right to the very edge of it, and it's you can tell I need a cameraman here. So yeah, so I didn't like the way that turned out at all. So I like to think that I improved on that quite a bit in the next one. Same cover, so this is the second version that I did. I took out the background altogether because sometimes less is more and simple is best. So white background, people already know what they bought, but I want that in there anyways. Copyright 2024, so that people don't think that they can just steal it, throw their own name on it, and flip it back on and make their own money off of it. So I don't know how much that protects me. In Canada, we've got different laws that basically as soon as you write something, it's essentially copywritten, but it doesn't hurt. So I put that in there. I faded out the images here, which you probably can't really tell. So there's that. And I'll go through these next ones quickly because I know at this point you're just like, shut up and just show us the end product already. So at the end of it here, so I did kind of take care of this problem that I had originally, but as you can see, margins are not my friend and it's completely cut off. And I didn't really like the way this looked either. This looked just kind of giant, enormous, like it's trying to beat you over the head with it or something. That's a QR code. So if you were to scan that, that takes you over to my order page where you can order reviewer's guidebook. And then I still didn't solve the problem in the back because I didn't. So that's okay though, because I have a third copy. This is all part of the banging my head against the wall process. So I solved that problem in there. I faded that out even more to about, I think that's at like 30% transparency for those that care about that kind of stuff. And at the bottom, I solved my margin problem, sort of, kind of. So I made them too big though, and it kind of looks like that, and it still looks kind of crappy, I think, because now it just looks like it just doesn't fit. I just threw something against the wall, and that's how it stuck, which is not quite what I was going for. And again, still I didn't learn my damn lesson on the back here, so that's all the way to the edge. Not a great look. So what's in the box? So I could do the whole unboxing thing, but I already know what's in the box, and this is actually the second batch of the final product that I have. So I'm just going to get to the punch here. That was just a prop to try to instill suspense. I hope it worked. Anyway, so this is the final product that I did. So I ended up doing a border around here. So this is something I wasn't quite expecting, but it's sort of a happy accident because I don't know if you guys can see that there. Sorry, my microphone's right here, so I'm trying not to bang into it. Maybe if I just move that over the way. There, I think you guys can still hear me if you're even listening. So yeah, so that's kind of cool. So what I would do though differently is I would actually do pretty much the same thing, except I would make that bright red so it stands out more. Essentially make it the same color as this. I think that would work much, much better. But everything else, I believe, worked perfect. Again, same thing. Same faded images. But at the end of it, though, I think this ends up. What I also did too is I put in an extra page here, a thank you page, because well, thank you for all you guys too if you've gotten this far. But I really appreciate it. So thank you to everybody that does end up buying this notebook, either as a standalone uh, notebook or a companion piece to writing your own book reviews too. So I really appreciate that, because literally every dollar that you guys spend on this goes towards my bank account, which helps me to create a lot more of this kind of stuff for you guys too. And it's really encouraging. Everybody knows every dollar, every positive thought, every good word left, every Amazon review, even if I did is maybe gave it a star, anything a starred review and said I liked it. That every little bit helps out with the algorithms that are, and plus it kind of gives us a little bit of warm, fuzzy feeling inside too. And the warmer and fuzzier we creatives are, the more creative we get, or something like that. And I also put a QR code too. That goes to my link tree, which just ties you in with absolutely everything. I don't have a comprehensive website at all right now, but that's something I want to do in the future. But until then, link tree it is. And then over on the back side, I thought it worked really well with the covers. I shrunk that. I shrinked it. I done shrinked it. I shrunk this down so that it matches a lot better, and I changed up my border, so I think that looks much cleaner, much easier on the eyes. And speaking of that, I didn't want this being contrasted against some very bright white page, so I also put that image in there as well. Also grabbed that from Canva, which I think complements this image really, really well. And eventually, when I bang my head against the wall, stuff starts to sink in a little bit. So I did fix up my problem that I had on the background there too. So that looks so much better, I think. Nicer border. It doesn't feel like I might be missing a word. Maybe it got dropped off the cliff like a, I don't know, dead body. So yeah, so I think that looks a lot cleaner, a lot better. One little thing that maybe I shouldn't mention, but hey, if you guys are watching this, then hey, as far as I'm concerned, we're friends. The only real oopsing that I have on this is on the side. So, bit of an insider. The reason that that is there and why that's a happy accident is to help me get my margins down proper, and that's how I fixed this. I got a friend of mine who gave me some good advice that I took, and I actually used a template and built my images on top of that. But then I didn't delete the template when I actually released it as the final product to publish through KDP. So that's why you see there, but I think that's a happy accident. And again, the next edition, I'm going to match it with that. I think it'll make that pop out really nice and frame it well. But what's on the back here, I don't know if you guys can see, is a bit of the template. So if you're a real, what I'm going to do for this, I think, is I'm just going to say to people, hey, I'm a bibliophile too. I get where you guys are coming from. Sometimes people just want to know how wide their spine is, and look at that, problem solved, because you can look at the spine and see exactly the dimensions of your spine. So that's me looking out for all of you fellow bibliophiles there. And for those of you who end up buying the next edition of this, that's probably not going to be there anymore. But that's it. That's my notebook. So super proud of it. I think it turned out awesome. I personally love writing in it. It's pretty thick too. I think most books that you get from these things are only about maybe what 100 pages, something like that. So this is 150 pages, nice and big. You can write stories in there, reviews, journal entries, whatever you want. And that's what's in the box. It's another 20 of those bad boys in here. Again, if you're local and you're in the area, stop by DreadCon, buy one from me right off of me too. And I've got little postcards with cool Jabble stories that I've also printed it on there. So yeah, check all that out. And if you're local as well, I'm hoping I can offer some sort of direct mail bundle package for you guys as well. It's my little guy in the background too. So like I said, raw and dirty, family's involved. It's a family affair. We do it all for the family and for all of you guys too. So thank you for watching this. Check it out. I'll put the links down below so you guys, if you guys want to order a copy of either my review guidebook or my notebook, you'll be able to do that. Have an awesome one, you guys. Enjoy Friday the 13th. Happy survival.